You're listening to Wonder Tools. I'm Jeremy Kaplan. This week, I'm exploring Eddy AI, a surprisingly useful new way to edit videos just by telling an AI what you're aiming for. Cut this 1 hour teaching workshop into a short version for busy colleagues, for example, which is what I used it for recently. You know how it usually goes. Someone asks you to trim down a long video for social media, and you spend hours wrestling with complex editing software, trying to find the right moments and make clean cuts. Eddy AI is changing that whole experience. Instead of learning software commands, you just tell it what you want, the same way you'd explain it to a colleague. Let me give you a quick example. Later today, I'll use it to trim an hour-long presentation video into a 4-minute summary piece. Instead of diving into a traditional editing software tool like Final Cut, I'll just upload the video to Eddy and type what I want. Cut a 2-minute summary focusing on the main points. Within minutes, I'll have a working draft to review. I can also include other details, like include one bit from each of the sections of this workshop. Now, Eddy isn't trying to replace professional video editors. It's more like having a helpful assistant who can handle the initial rough cuts. It's particularly great for interview videos, presentations, talking head content panels, that kind of thing. The tool analyzes what people are saying and helps you basically pull out specific moments or topics that you're interested in, or just generally shorten it from being a long video into something that's more watchable. Here's what I find particularly exciting. You can have a back and forth conversation with Eddy to refine your video. If the first cut isn't quite right, which in many cases I find it's not, you can say something like, make the opening snappier or focus more on the Q&A section. It's remarkably intuitive. Of course, there are some limitations, and I want to mention a couple of them. Eddy only works with videos that have people talking. It can't edit silent footage or abstract video. It's English only for now. And it doesn't include fancy features that you'll see in other professional video editing software tools like color correction or transitions or even titles right now. But for quick edits and initial drafts, it's incredibly useful. And it can add captions to the video, and you can export your video drafts to Final Cut or Adobe Premiere or DaVinci Resolve or even Avid. And so you can do additional professional editing if you want to use Eddy for the initial rough cuts, which is what a lot of professional video editors are using it for. In speaking with Eddy's founding CEO, Shamir, I've heard about various video editors who are already using Eddy, like an independent filmmaker who's using it to streamline video podcast editing, and a boutique video agency that says they're saving 10 hours a week because they edit so many short social videos, and this makes the process a lot more efficient. It's completely free for now while it's in its early stages through 2024, and it works right in your browser. There's also a downloadable Mac app. It's not yet available on mobile devices, and I don't know if it will be. If you're someone who finds traditional video editing software overwhelming, and I'm talking about Final Cut or Adobe Premiere or expensive, or if you just need to quickly pull highlights from longer videos and you want a new way to do that, Eddy is worth checking out. Let me share some quick examples of what you can do with Eddy if you're interested in trying it out. You might use it to create a vertical Instagram reel from a horizontal video interview that was very long, and you can make it a lot shorter. You can pull out specific clips when someone talks about a particular topic that you are focusing on, or you can create a series of short TikTok clips focusing on a particular theme. You could use it to cut a preview for an upcoming course you're teaching or an event you're hosting, create a welcome video for a training program or some other kind of program you're running, or even work with multiple camera angles. It has a multicam functionality to create different cuts, which is pretty neat. One particularly useful feature that I like is being able to say things like, find me the best quotes about our new program, or create a 2-minute summary of the main points from this interview. And you can try something like that, even if you have a relatively long and boring event video or interview video. What I find most fascinating about tools like Eddy in the end is how they're making creative work more accessible. Just as AI is democratizing things like coding and image creation, which I've written about recently, it's now opening up video editing to people who might never have attempted it before. That's all for this week's Wonder Tools. Thanks for listening and for reading. And as always, you can find detailed reviews and write-ups and links at wondertools.substack.com. I'm Jeremy Kaplan. Thanks for listening.